that I was one of the choir leaders of General Mosquito and FIFA in Parliament in these elections. I did it openly, and you can find out from Honorable Ahmed, who was virtually the leader of General Mosquito's campaign team in Parliament. And two, no one is bigger than the NDC, and no one is beyond criticisms in the NDC. The NDC is a social democratic party, and every social democratic parties, people have equal spaces to express their convictions and opinions on issues as long as they feel strongly about those issues. And we agreed as a country to charter the path of democracy. And the NDC will proudly say that we gave birth to this democracy. In the Consultative Assembly, towards the drafting of the constitution we're using today, the MPP boycotted it. The Buza Danko tradition said they were not going to participate in it. They couldn't fathom sitting on the same table with fishermen, teachers, nurses, farmers to draft a constitution. They didn't only boycott it, they spoke against it. And it is understandable because even the independence of this country was opposed by them. They voted against the motion of destiny. Buza led the team to the Queen and told the Queen that they were not interested in independence. It was just a group of charlatans who were agitating for independence. So the NDC can proudly take credit for this constitution and this democracy we practice today. I had the privileged opportunity to have participated in a lecture delivered by Professor Ali Mazuri at the Great Hall in University of Ghana. And Professor Achila Kwasoya was the chairman of the occasion. It was Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Lecture. And Professor Achila Kwasoya made a very famous but rather controversial statement. He said that Nkrumah started as a Democrat and ended up as a dictator. I disagree with him. As a consummate Nkrumahist, I am in and out Nkrumahist. And he said, but Rawlings started as a dictator and ended up as a Democrat. What I want in the statement he made was not the controversial aspects of it. And then when he was challenged, he said, look, Rawlings at that time could have decided not to democratize and nothing would have happened. And he gave examples to many African countries who refused to democratize at that time because they had control over the military. So the NDC can proudly take credit for this democracy. So if we can proudly take credit for this democracy, we must not have a half-baked participation in the democratic processes. One of the important ingredients of democratic governance is consultation and participation. I am a political science student, and I take particular interest in parliamentary work, and the work I'm doing currently is on Parliament of Africa. And I can tell you that consultation is sine qua non in achieving any democratic objective. Even in Parliament, you consult, you build consensus. If you do not consult and you don't engage people in participating, you cannot build consensus. In every political party, you need to judge or disagree to agree. I have listened to some senior colleagues, and they made rather bizarre comments. The argument is that there is nowhere in the 1992 Constitution that obliges the National Executive to consult the caucus before appointing people. And that there is nowhere in the standing orders of Parliament that obliges, if you like, the National Executive of the party to consult the leadership or the caucus of Parliament before choosing leaders. And that there is nowhere in the NDC Constitution that says so. Nobody has argued that the fact that we are talking about consultation, we're taking the authority from the Constitution of Ghana or the Constitution of the party or the standing orders of party. Nobody has argued that way. So they should not set their own questions and begin finding answers. What we have said repeatedly, that we are practicing democracy, and one of the important ingredients of democratic governance is consultation and participation. So the argument of consultation has nothing to do with the 1992 Constitution or the Constitution of the party or the standing orders. But I'll come to explain why I think that the leaders I supported strongly against all odds got it completely wrong. Now, if you take the standing orders of the party, and I guess that is what some of our senior colleagues are quoting. If you read Order 7 of the standing orders, and for your permission, and I will read the aspect that talks about the minority leader. The order says that minority leader means a member of parliament designated by the party having the largest numerical strength in parliament other than the party that has formed the government as the recognized leader of all the minority groups in the house. So what it simply means is that the political party other than the political party in government that has the largest representation in parliament would have someone designated as their leader. So what it simply means is that if you have more than one opposition party in parliament, and for example, you have two opposition parties in parliament, and the two opposition parties have equal numbers of representation, the decision to choose a leader for the minority will be taken by the two parties. You don't need a lawyer to simply comprehend this. He's a lawyer here. If you, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you have two, assuming CPP was in parliament, or PNC, and CPP and PNC and NDC has the same numbers of representation, and the MPP has majority, the decision to choose the leader wouldn't have been a decision solely and absolutely taken by the NDC. It would have been a decision taken by the two parties who have equal representation in parliament. And they could have even voted to determine who the leader is. So that is what the standing orders say. But the argument I have already said is wobbling. Let's come to and look at this. In fact, one of the arguments they also made is that, yes, the NEC can take a decision without consulting parliament. Yes, that is true. FEC can take a decision without consulting parliament. Yes, that is true. The question I asked them, was this decision taken by NEC or FEC? The party constitution is very clear how decisions are arrived at. The party constitution says that the highest decision-making body of the party is Congress. The second highest decision-making body of the party is NEC. I'm a member of NEC. The third highest decision-making body of the party is FEC. So any of this can take a decision for the party that is binding on everybody. Not individuals within these structures. So if I am a national secretary and I am a member of FEC, I can't say that because I want to do this, that should be the decision. You convene a meeting with all members of FEC for you to say that I think that this is the way to go. If they agree with you, then that becomes the decision of the party. Now, if you haven't done that and you took a decision, it is a decision of you, not the decision of the party. So those who have argued that they don't need to consult parliament, the decision can be taken by the executives, they should be told that decision by be taken by the executive as a body, not as individuals. Someone should produce minutes where the decision was taken to appoint the new leadership. Someone should do that. And two, those who have also argued that they don't need to consult this current leadership, the caucus was consulted before they were appointed. When we came into this parliament, the 8th parliament, the then national secretary came to meet us at caucus and told us that we are to constitute leadership of the house. Are you satisfied with the current leaders, that is leaders who were the leaders in the 7th parliament? Are you satisfied with the current leadership, or you want the leadership to be changed? And it was unanimous that we are satisfied with the current leadership. So that argument of consultation not being necessary, they should go and find out from the national chairman whether we were consulted before this leadership were chosen or not. Now, when they consulted us, if we had said we're not satisfied with them, they have chosen new leaders. Why did they consult us? At the time when they were consulting us, they knew that there is nowhere, no provision in the party constitution that obliges them to consult us. But they consulted us because of the earlier point I made, the purposes of upholding the most important ingredients of democratic governance, which is consultation and participation. That was the reason why they consulted us. Let me also state that I have heard people who says that challenging the decision of the leadership of the party is insubordination and indiscipline. They should come again. This party is a democratic party. The founder of the party was criticized by the very people they think we can't criticize today. Now, if you think that we don't have the right to criticize a decision humbly and respectfully taken by the leadership of the party, then we must as well abandon this democratic process. I don't think that the national secretary and the national chairman would be unhappy with us raising legitimate questions, in our opinion, about their action. They have all been members of parliament, consummate politicians, particularly the national secretary. So I don't think that he would genuinely and sincerely have problem with me or any other person who is asking legitimate questions. We are asking those simple questions. Now, I have listened to Honorable Aveji, and he says, I am out of the country. I am not even aware. Nobody discussed anything with me. Now, if consultation is not necessary, why were they consulted in the first place? Why were we consulted? And those who said in the 2016, when I lost the elections, I was still a member of parliament when the issue of leadership came. The leadership of the party met the caucus. So it is not true that there wasn't any consultation. The leadership met the caucus. Some of us have different opinions about the decisions. Consultation doesn't mean they should call you and sit down and they informed you. And that is why I have given an example. This current leadership, they were the leaders in the 7th parliament. And they were the same leaders in the 8th parliament. The general secretary met us at caucus in parliament. And the question was that whether we were satisfied with the leaders or we wanted a change. And we said we were satisfied with the leaders. Why did they consult us? Again, I listened to the national chairman. I mean, someone I have tremendous respect for. And when I supported him in the second, no, but none of them gave me one cedi. I was confident that they could do that. One of the reasons in the run-up to the National Congress, it was that some people needed to be changed because they were not consulting. Was that not an allegation made on TV? So why would you accuse others that they were not consulting, yet you think that you don't need to consult? Those people, did they violate any provision in the constitution when you think that they were not consulting? No. But because it was legitimate, and I agree absolutely with him, and I agree with him today, that they needed to have been consulting because consultation is an important aspect of our democratic governance. So if we begin to ask questions and people say that don't ask questions, and some even have argued that why are you asking questions now? For me, the least said about those arguments, the better. Another very important point that I would want to make. I listened to the national chairman, and with all due respect, they asked him why he's changing, and he said the changes has nothing to do with competence. So if those people are competent, why do you want to change? And the argument is that we are getting into an elections, and the important issue we are looking at is the economy. Even though I disagree. Any elections we have had in this country, or any change of government, corruption has always featured as the most important aspects of the campaign. Every campaign. Now, if you want to go by this argument of the economy, in 1996, when the NDC was getting into the elections under former President Rawlings, the most important issue at that time was economy and corruption. Is that not the case? That was the time President Kufuor was saying, if you're sitting in to a whole lot of, where they had a great alliance. Maybe a lot of the young lads are not aware. I voted in that elections. Yes, they went into PCP. PCP went into an alliance. I voted in that election. Well, one of the reasons, one of the campaign mantra of the NPP was how we mismanaged the economy. Someone should tell me. Was the NDC leader in parliament a person with finance background? No. In 2008, when we went into the election, the economy featured strongly. Was the NDC leader in parliament a person with finance background? No. Or a person with economics background? No. Tell me one of the leaders we have chosen in parliament who is an economist or a person with finance background. Show me one since 1992. Someone should show me one. And two, I don't have any problem. I spoke with Honorable Atufosen this morning. He called me. He's a very good friend of mine. We spoke. And he himself expressed worry about what is happening within the party. Because the point is that if you are taking leadership and is shrouded with these controversies, how are you even going to manage? Atufosen, fantastic person. Bua, fantastic person. He is the ranking of my committee. Look, I don't crave for leadership. I don't. And I have said, when we won elections in 2012, I never lobbied for any appointment. Not even from one person. If there's anybody in this country I came to him, lobby, that person should. I see appointment as service. And my life, and let me be very clear, my destiny has never been tied to my ambitions. I'm a Muslim, and I believe that Allah defines my destiny. No human being can define who I am going to be in future. Nobody except Allah. So those who think that the objective position is something. Nobody is Allah. I have never tied my ambition to my destiny. In fact, Allah says, Lawil Mahfuz, my destiny is defined by Allah. Nobody. And I won't be cowed to submission from speaking my mind on any national issue as long as I am convinced in the heart of my heart that this is the right thing to say. Now, the argument that is being made, that we want to have regional balance, I was shocked when I listened to that statement being made. Because when you argue this way, then you are opening the Pandora box for people to ask questions. If you tell me that you want to have a regional balance, then there isn't a single representation from the 5 northern regions in the leadership. Not even one. If you tell me that you are taking into consideration some constitution, not a single Muslim in the leadership. And I'm asking these questions because of the statements that are made, the reason why they think that the changes. If the changes are that the party decides that we are changing without bringing in this regional and others, I won't ask these questions. But when you begin to raise them, then you are now making it open for us to ask those questions. So I don't care if the entire leadership of our party is from one region. I don't care as long as they deliver. And don't get me wrong, I don't have any problem with the people who have been proposed. I've just told you, I spoke with Atu this morning. Adoklu. Abuja is my very, very good friend, and everybody knows. I don't have any problem at all. But I'm saying that, is the timing even the most appropriate time to do so? Is it the most appropriate time? Someone said, oh, some of you are doing that, we will remove in the primaries. Come to contest me.
Simple as that.
It's as simple. Wallahi, if Allah says I would not come back to parliament, the entire world can support me. I won't come. It's little fate. I don't go into elections and pray, Allah, let me win. I pray, Allah, if winning is good for me, let me win. If it is not good, don't give me. So those people, perhaps they don't know me. So this idea, and people have gone, why should you come on social media? As a member of parliament, I had this information on social media. Now, if the argument, and I also told, oh, that the other ones, people were not consulted. Yes, but the decision was taken at FEC. It was not individual or individuals who took that decision. And you think that we shouldn't ask those legitimate questions? Right. We are a party that believes in democratic principles. We are practicing democracy. The space is equal for everybody. I am not defending, and let me make this point very clear. And your reporter, God, you report in parliament. Yeah. You've seen me disagree with this leadership. Yeah. You've seen me, this leadership. Yeah. Challenge them even on the floor. And I'll give an example. When there was this waiver, this tax waiver over $11 million for some 2 companies under 1D1F. Openly, I had open confrontation with the leadership on the floor because I disagreed with that decision. Look, we have 2 members, myself and Honorable Nketia. We are former deputy ministers for trade and industries. We are all on the trade committee. None of us is a leader. Not ranking, not deputy. Have we complained? Has any of us complained? No. Because we can't all lead. Some must lead. Now, if it is that these leaders are not performing and we are changing them, I would be for it. The last question I'll ask, why have you changed all of them and left 2? If you think that the leadership ought to be changed, why have you left 2? And someone should provide me with the minutes of the meeting where that decision was taken. So some of us will ask these questions. We won't stop asking these questions. And those who think that we can be cowed to submission, perhaps they do not know Murtala. By Allah's will, I have a profound faith in him that I will speak the truth even if there is a dagger before me. I supported General, I supported Fifi openly. I supported and ensured that they were elected. And I have the right to criticize any decision that is taken by any of them. And I don't think they will have any problem with me criticizing the decisions they have taken.